Good morning, people. How are you doing? I am Scott. Bo is taking a nap down below. There's no co-pilot in the co-pilot seat, and it is the 19th day of May, 2022, about 8:20 in the morning. You see, my logo's not up there. Instead, we have this interesting definition. Except for the words corporate fascism posted on top, which I added. This was posted by Patrick Henningson's crew, Henningson Lee's Things crew over at 21st Century Wire, who, by the way, was saying for the last 2 years everything was about fucking communism. We're fighting the commies. Something Whitney Webb continues to push on a regular basis. Here's the reality. Quote, the bankers will ensure we stay in debt. The pharmaceutical companies will ensure we stay sick. The weapons manufacturers will ensure we keep going to war. The media will ensure that we are prevented from knowing the truth, and the government will ensure it's all done legally. Once you understand that, you understand everything. What is the thing that ties all this together? Bankers can't make sure you stay in debt if the government doesn't help them. Pharmaceutical companies can't make sure you stay sick if the government doesn't help them. Weapons manufacturers make sure we keep going to war, and they can't if the government doesn't help them. And the media make sure that we're prevented from knowing the truth by constantly lying to us and the government, and they couldn't do it if the government didn't help them. That's the definition of that is corporate fascism. Not communism, not socialism. It's called corporate fascism. And once you understand that, then you start to figure it out. Now, today's video should help a little bit in that regard. Hi, folks. Personal update on the vehicle. Thank you guys so much. You've been so very helpful. And I know people are concerned. My neighbor, I should clarify in the video, the neighbor didn't do that work. I did. That's in front of my house, my tools. And he's actually across the street, and he's a good neighbor. He's a good neighbor. And he's helped me before. He knows more about doing mechanical work on cars than I do. So I always go there and knock on the door when I got a question and ask him, as I did yesterday, working on the car several times. But he said he would help me solder the pieces together rather than having to replace that whole cable structure that goes back into I think it goes into the cabin of the car. For the transistor, or whatever the fuck it is called. Transistor later? Whatever the fuck it's called. Which is interesting because 4 years ago, when I ended up having the problem with this, and then I ended up replacing the distributor, because I thought that was a problem, that's where I was hearing the clicking noise up inside someplace with the passenger dashboard in front of the passenger seat. Anyway, and I remember him and I talking about it, and I could hear that clicking noise there. Well, apparently that's where the thing is that connects to the distributor. That's where it connects back into. So, of course, when it was loose in the distributor, because it was that fucking wire harness and not the distributor that my shop said they replaced, after I'd replaced one myself a year and a half before that, 2 years before that, when this thing started happening. Anyway, it's a long history with this goddamn distributor thing. He's going to help me if we splice it, get another one and then splice it. But getting another one's going to be a problem. I've seen places where online where I probably wouldn't, in Sri Lanka, Kuala Lumpur, and somebody found one of those for me. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm not entirely sure I trust that site to give them my credit card information, debit card information. I'll keep looking. People say, well, Scott, what you got to do is just go to the junkyard. Everyone says, just go to the junkyard. Okay, cool. Thanks. Yeah. In what? I can barely fucking walk my dog. After I do, I come back and have to sit down and pant for a while because I have COPD, and I've had 3 pulmonary embolisms. So my lungs are not in the best shape. Plus, I have blood clotting disorder, so it makes walking distances a little risky. So the closest one is within 5 miles. But here's the problem with that. Even if I could take a bus or get up there one way or the other, or an Uber, it's a small one. And there's no guarantee there's going to be a part there for it. In fact, this is a DSM Motors Diamond Star Motors. It's a DSM car. And back in the day, the young fucking gearhead guys, they liked hooking these things up and tweaking them out and showing them off. That's why there's not a whole lot of them left. So I'm pretty sure that whatever was there, if there was anything there in the first, I'm sure there was, but now it's probably picked through. There's a good chance. But I mean, the next one's 15 miles away. After that, 20 miles away. Now you start talking about serious money in terms of Uber and Lyft and all that stuff. So, hey, let's go to the junkyard. Sure. I'll just teleport myself there in the hopes. So I'm really kind of fucked. If I can't find it online, or if on Amazon or one of the places I trust, I'm kind of fucked. We will work it out, though, one way or the other. I am also looking into trying to fix up Mom's car. Might stand a better chance of putting her car back on the road. And that's going to be the next project. Today's project, as a matter of fact. But thank you guys very much for your concern. Let's talk about corporate fascism and why I thought it was good to show you that little image that was posted by 21st Century Wire, minus this, of course. Because I think they still push the, well, it's all just the same. It's all China's involved and Russia's involved and it's all the same and it's all the bankers' wars. Could you hear me rolling my eyes? Could you hear it? Could you? Let me show you an example of what I'm talking about. A current example. And that is this dude. Yes, boys and girls. As you know, George Bush made a little faux pas. But that's not why I'm fucking showing you this. Have a listen.
In contrast, Russian elections are rigged. Political opponents are imprisoned or otherwise eliminated from participating in the electoral process. The result is an absence of checks and balances in Russia and the decision of one man to launch a wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of Iraq. I mean, of Ukraine. Iraq, anyway.
Iraq too. You hear him laughing?
And brutal invasion of Iraq. I mean, of Ukraine. Iraq too. Anyway.
Oh God, that's funny. Oh, you're so funny. You're so irreverent. What he's listing is, he says it's rigged elections in Russia. They keep people from campaigning and running for president in Russia. We've been rigging the election since 2000, probably before then, really. You can go back to the fucking Johnson. What was his fucking name? He was a guy after fucking, God damn, now I can't remember. Fucking the guy who helped kill Kennedy, took over from him. Anyway, go back to his fucking election in Texas, Ballot 13 box sitting on the top of the hood of someone's car, his buddy's car. That's a famous fucking photo. It was in the news. They talked about it. They stole that election. But when you go back to 2000, they rigged the election. Both elections for fucking George W. Bush were rigged. There's no question. They were stolen. Stolen. Flat out. They pushed the Help America Vote Act in 2002 to put more of these electronic voting machines in your fucking districts where you would have to fucking use them so they could steal the elections from you. We steal elections. Talk about keeping fucking candidates from running. Did you ever hear of Bernie Sanders? 2016, Bernie Sanders 2020. Did you ever hear what they did to Ralph Nader back in 2000, 2004? Wouldn't let him fucking debate because they didn't want that. They didn't want to hear that. Look at what happened to Dennis Kucinich in 2000, 2004, 2004, both. 2004, I think. Look what happened to him. Or 2008. It doesn't matter. They had some media person bring up the fact that he once saw a UFO in a live fucking debate. So what about, you still believe in little green men? And of course, they hardly asked him anything else throughout the whole debate. We do that. That's us. We do that. International observers in 2011, 2012, one of those two, back when Hillary Clinton was sure Putin had stolen the election, told everybody Putin stole the election. Eventually, she had to walk that back. And I covered that in my American Everyman channel before the media said, no. They didn't rig the election. We rig ours. All of that, he's projecting what they do and what he knows they do onto fucking Putin because they want regime change. But it's all the same, Scott. They're all working for the same people. No, they're not. Come to understand something. No, they're not. Recently, fucking Zelensky, puppet Zelensky, cokehead Zelensky, he came out and was saying, Russia's killed 4,000 people. 4,000 people. His government killed 14,000 between 2014 and 2021. Of the same people. Well, the people in Lugansk in the Donbass region. Donetsk and Lugansk. They killed 14,000. And that's a conservative estimate. He says that Russia's invasions caused the death of 4,000 people, many of whom were killed, by the way, by his own fucking soldiers. And, of course, the Nazis and the Zelle battalion and other far-right sector fucking military groups. He did that. He's blaming them for it. And, of course, the media runs with that. 4,000. He's got 4,000 deaths on his hands. Are you fucking shitting me? Are you fucking shitting me? This is what we did. 2003. Have we seen anything like that in Ukraine? Anything at all? Have we seen anything like that in Ukraine? These are the oil fires that we set deliberately. Of course, we stole the oil there. We stole the oil in fucking Syria. And we stole the oil in Libya. By the way, you can also add Libya to this list of things. Talking about Zelensky and people in the press promoting this. 4,000 people killed by fucking Putin. We killed at least 25,000 in Libya. At least 25,000. The numbers, for shock and awe, are outrageous. Here are the people who were laughing at his fucking joke, at his little faux pas. and then go, oh, well, Iraq too. Here are the people laughing. All dressed up in their business attire with their suits, their $1,000 suits, and their business skirts and dresses, their power outfits, to show how on board with the corporate fucking message they are. These are the kinds of people who laugh at that. He just made a joke. The man solely responsible for the images that I just showed you. Here are the numbers that they're cheering for. Well, Iraq too. 1.2 million Iraqi dead. 4,550 U.S. service members dead. 793 U.S. military contractors dead. And 9.2 million Iraqis displaced, either externally outside the country as refugees or internally inside the country. Kicked out of their homes, some of which had been there for generations. All because the press helped them sell the fucking lies. At Croco Truth brought up this person, Judith Miller. Dick Cheney's aide, Scooter Libby, convicted, was given false intel by Dick Cheney, and he took it to Judith Miller at the New York Times, and she ran with it with an inside source. Here's the proof that they have weapons of mass destruction. Also, Dick Cheney could then pull up the New York Times and go, here's the proof. And what's the result of that collusion? All being done for the oil industry, for the bankers. Pharmaceutical industry was involved in, they coveted the poppy fields in fucking Afghanistan, because that made, if they could control that, that could make all those opioids, 102,000 people overdosed on last year, that could make it so much cheaper. So these people worked that fucking magic. But they did all that just so they could do that. Corporate America cheered. Today,
championed by Tucker Carlson. What happens at Fox News when something like this happens?
I can't even imagine. It's partly why I ended up getting out of there. It really is kind of horrible to think that journalists with national and international capacity are putting together this type of nonsense. I think the president did a great job. I wish he had done a lot of this a lot sooner, and we need a lot more from the left and the middle. And we got to watch out, because the Republicans have become the purveyors of misinformation. And when our
misinformation, is he talking about ginning up lies to go to fucking Iraq and kill 1.2 million Iraqis? 4,700 American servicemen? Is that what he's talking about?
Our two-party system is broken like that.
No.
Democracy is seriously in trouble. The president acknowledged that. It's time to actually start doing things and maybe taking some names and putting people in jail.
Taking some names and putting people in jail for doing what? For telling you stuff back in the day about COVID-19, about fucking where SARS-CoV-2 came from, about the fact that there are effective treatments other than their mRNA fucking experimental treatments that don't work, that are killing people. You want to round those people up and put them in jail for people who are telling you about the Great Reset, for people who are telling you about the threat of corporate fascism, for people who are telling you they are deliberately lying to you in order to make you go to fucking war and kill people in a country that has nothing to do with you, never has, never will, for corporate profits. They want to start taking names of those people and maybe sending them to jail. Meanwhile, the people who are responsible for this they're still just fine. And they still work for Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, ABC, NBC, New York Times, Washington Post, LA Times, Boston Tribune. That's what these people are. And that, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, is what corporate fascism is all about. I thank you for your time.